I've debated making this video a few times, um, and whether I want to be this public and straightforward with what's going on. But I guess I will open up to you guys and tell you uh, sort of the basis of what's going on. You've probably picked up from some comments that I've made and maybe like my tone of voice in my previous videos that while I generally put on a pretty happy face for YouTube, that there's something going on behind the scenes. There are actually multiple things, and maybe down the road, I'll make some videos about them. In fact, most of them I am planning on making videos about. But what lies at the bottom of that, what really ties everything together, is that I have been depressed for a long time. It's not just like I'm unhappy. Everybody has those days or those weeks, and of course I've had those too, but that's not what's going on. It's a really deep depression. And I'm not embarrassed to talk about that. My degrees in clinical psychology certainly don't think there's anything wrong with being depressed. It's just miserable to live through. Um, but I wanted to tell you guys because I know that sometimes sometimes I feel like the things that I say are slightly pessimistic, even though my optimism that is the true me does show through sometimes. But I also feel like sometimes just my tone of voice is a little, I don't even know how to say it. It's just like it sort of tails off at the end and kind of a little um, condescending is not the word, but that's what I'm thinking of. But this tone of kind of like meh kind of thing. I don't want to be like that, and that's not who I am. Sure, I can do self-deprecating humor and all those things, and that's fine. But I don't want to be a depressed person. And I have always drawn sort of a dichotomy between the two types of depression. And I know the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders doesn't break it down like this, but I think that it's important to break it down this way. I think that there are two major types of depression, and those are what I call depression because something happened and depression for no reason. Now, depression for no reason um, does have a reason. It's just that you probably don't know it. Um, that is, say, like a chemical imbalance in the brain, which is what depression is, but you got to look at the cause of it too. Did that just happen on its own, or because of environmental factors or something like that? Um, Whereas what I'm dealing with, I see as a little less serious because something actually happened to make me depressed. And I do think that there's power in being able to identify what it is that made you depressed, and what maybe continues to make you depressed. Uh, because I do feel like I'd be more hopeless if I didn't know what was going on. But I can actually look and say, this happened, this is what started it, and these other things are happening, and that's continued it. So I know I'm never going to be 100% happy, and that's fine because that's normal. Nobody is. But at the same time, for the last, I want to say like 4, 5, 6, 7, like 4 years, I have been dealing off and on with depression. And it did start with a relationship. Well, yeah, I guess that's fair. I had some bad stuff happen along the way too, but it kind of, my relationship was kind of messing things up too. And there were points in time where I got everything else straightened out in my life, and I should have been super happy. But at the end of the day, I sat down at home and I had this worry, I had this stress because what was happening is I was in an abusive relationship. And I will eventually tell you guys about that. But at that time, I didn't really know that. Um, but looking back on it, I do see many points where I got my life completely straightened out and I should have been happy. and I was for the most part. But there was sort of this underlying thing that always sort of dragged me down, even when nothing else did. So I don't know if that's what started it or if it was a combination of that and the other stuff that happened at the time. 2013 was a horrible year for me. I started out the year having pneumonia. And then because I had pneumonia and because I was on this medicine that made me crazy for the pneumonia, I like bombed this phone interview for like just the my dream job. Then on top of that, I got transferred to a different part of the state, which actually I looked at as a positive at the time. But then the people I worked with just were awful, just awful. And if you've seen my video, how I got fired from Abercrombie and Fitch, that's store number 2. If you want to watch that and see what I'm talking about. And then 2013 just progressively beat me up throughout the year. By mid-year, I was, well, broke up with a girlfriend at the time, started dating another girl. She, I don't even know what happened with that, but I was kind of upset with that. And so decided girl number 1 and I decided we were going to be friends. But then she got hurt that I was dating girl number 2 and then started being super mean to me. And so that took a toll too. That, somebody that was like my best friend was just so awful. I didn't mean to hurt her. She said she didn't care about me anymore. I mean, I guess now I see that as a self-defense mechanism, but I just took it at face value when she said that. And what happened was later in 2013, I mean, October especially, I just got beat up. Girl number 1 basically told me never to talk to her again, and I was devastated. Then, let's see, my car blew up the beginning of October. My stepdad died in I think the 25th of October. On the 30th of October, I got fired or whatever happened at Abercrombie. Watch that video and you'll see what I mean. And then it just kept going downhill. And yes, looking back, 2013 was the worst. Just the worst. Since graduating college, since all this depression started, that year beat me up bad. And it was something that was very difficult to come back from because I just had to rely on my friends and annoy the hell out of them complaining about everything that happened to me because I couldn't afford to go to a counselor. It was the deepest, darkest depression I'd ever been in my life, and I didn't know how to fix it. Since then, there have been times where I've really crawled my way out of that depression, times where I've truly been happy. But as I said, that relationship continued, and that was always the one thing, if anything was happening, that was bringing me down. And it's just been up and down since then. 2015 was a rough year because of my job. 2016 was a rough year because of money issues, and also my mom. And I know I've mentioned that. I haven't made a video about it. I swear to you guys, I will make a video, but it's going to be extremely long. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff with my mom's health right now. And basically I'm her caretaker now. It's a mess. And that has all taken its toll on me. Each one of those things individually can really grind on a person. But on top of this, it's not just that stuff. I'm looking at money issues and the resulting issues that come from not having enough money to pay for your basic expenses. I just found out last Monday that my car is not fixable, and I literally have 7 cents in an account saved up to buy a new car. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with that. On top of that, I am still dealing with the mom thing, and then I've got my job. Now, you guys, I know I've mentioned before issues with my job. I don't want to get into that. I will make a video about it after I leave here. I don't want to make a video right now and get myself fired. But it's not only the money situation, but it's a situation of respect and basically being constantly disrespected and used by my company and not being able to do anything about it because I don't have the financial stability to be able to leave. That causes a lot of stress, a lot of dreading to go to work. In addition to that, there are other things. My apartment. You see all these boxes back here? I never like fully moved into my apartment because I really didn't like it for the beginning. I call it the storage unit. I use my living room half as storage because I want to get out of here as soon as possible. I can't afford that right now, but I want that to happen because I think my apartment's kind of depressing. My neighborhood is definitely depressing. Now, I know money can't buy happiness, even though I made a video saying it can, but I don't think in this case it can. But it'll help, right? And so what I've done the last week is I've made a list of all these things I just mentioned to you, and I'm going to add some more to them. And I'm going to say, okay, what are the things that are depressing you? What are the things that are making you unhappy? And I'm going to make goals and work on each individual one of those because I'm tired of feeling like this. And at the very end of it, hopefully I'll have a new job, a new apartment, more money, something worked out about a car, and hopefully somewhere in that, by changing those things, it's going to kind of break the cycle that I'm stuck in of just being unhappy. And I think that I'm able to do that, and I hope that you guys can see some progress just in my demeanor throughout the videos that I make in the future. I don't want you guys to worry about me. I'm not having suicidal thoughts, and I feel like when I tell people that, they don't believe me. Like, it was like, oh well, you know, you'd say that even if you were. I'm like, okay, well I can't say anything more to make you believe me. But really I'm not, because everything I'm doing is struggling and making goals to make things better. So that's the opposite of that. But I honestly am having a rough time, and it's been going on for a while, long while. And I'm still optimistic that it's going to work out in the end. It just is not there yet. And it's tough when you're going through it. I've been here before, and I know that. I know there's a solution. There's only really one aspect of all this that I haven't found a solution for yet, and the other ones I just need to find a way to get to that solution. As I told you guys, that relationship really messed me up, and I want you guys to know that for the last, I think it'll be a year in July, I've been going to a counselor. Now, I did have to cut back because of the cost of counseling, but we're kind of working through some stuff, mostly about that relationship. Because when I make that video about it, guys, and I promise I will make a video for you eventually about it, you'll see it is fucked up what I went through. Like, it's taken me so long to realize that the reason I'm so torn up about that is because what happened to me is not normal and not okay. And that's why I seem to be taking it a lot harder than most people would a breakup or any breakup I've had before. Just because it's kind of so outlandish what actually occurred. I promise you guys I will make a video about that, but I really just want to make one video. So I want to get everything worked out. I want to make sure it's completely over, done with. I have my closure and have moved on, and then I will tell you guys the ridiculously long story of that and how it affected me. It'll definitely be entertaining because the story is just completely insane. But just know that while I'm pretty open with stuff that's going on in my life on YouTube, in my other videos, there are other things that I don't talk about. But I feel like I owe you guys this. This channel's, yeah, it's about my financial life, but it's about my life. And this is something that's a big part of it and something that I struggle with every hour of every day. So if you guys have picked up any hint of me being like that, that's why. And I will once I get it sorted out, I will tell you guys about my struggles and what all I've been through with that. It's not pretty, but it'll be entertaining. And I think that telling you guys the full story and knowing that you guys are out there supporting me, I think that that'll maybe bring me the closure that I never got, and be some catharsis for me. So I know this video didn't have much of a point, but I wanted to let you guys know that I am struggling, and that if you are too, that's okay. I don't want to be one of those YouTube personalities that seems perfect. I want you guys to know that I struggle too with the same stuff that you guys do. And hopefully we can help each other, because there are so many mean people in the world, and those who are not, we really have to stand up for each other. So thank you guys again for watching this video. Again, I'm going to be posting weekly every Sunday, so make sure you subscribe. Please leave me some comments. If I'd like to hear from you, if it's just encouragement, or if you're going through your own struggle, I'd like to hear about it. Remember, my degree is in clinical psych, so it's not something I'm going to judge you for. And I'd love to talk with you about any struggles that you're going through as well. So thanks for listening, guys, and let's just keep an eye on me, watch the videos, and I think you'll see over time that my demeanor will improve. And I promise you that I am working on these things. And someday you're going to see me back as the real me. And I promise you that the real me is a lot more fun.